Welcome to Wednesdays with Weingartz. I'm Ron Weingartz. Today I'm here to talk about fuel. So all the different power equipment requires fuel. So we get a lot of questions asked. Do I need rec fuel? Ethanol-free fuel. So I don't want to say you need rec fuel. Your manufacturers will all recommend 10% ethanol or less. So rec fuel is ethanol-free. So naturally that's going to be the best. But it's very expensive, and a lot of times you have to go out of your way to find it. So the key is with fuel is 10% ethanol or less, which typically if you go to mid-grade fuel, you go from 87 to 89 octane, they use less ethanol in the mid-grade fuel. And also that higher ethanol, as your fuel degrades, if you don't use it, a lot of times with power equipment, fuel isn't used quite as quickly as you would, like say in an automobile. So you do lose some octane, so that extra octane will also make it fresher longer, I guess we could say. And I would actually recommend you go to a premium fuel. It's not much more money to go to 93 octane. It's there again, you don't have to worry about as your fuel degrades, it's going to hold that octane, keep it above that 89, 90. But a mid-grade or premium is a great way to go. But we also have a lot of people going to the premix fuel. One advantage of the premix fuel, for your two-cycle products, you don't use a lot of fuel, and a lot of times it sits a long time between uses. For example, a chainsaw. You've got a project you need to do, you use a chainsaw, and it may sit for 3 or 4 months. So manufacturers will come out with, so this is ethanol-free fuel, and it's got fuel stabilizers added to it, which will give you up to a 2-year shelf life. So if you're not using your equipment a lot, this is a great way to go. And it's a great way to go at any time, but it is more costly than going to a fuel station, mixing up your own fuel. So all your manufacturers will have this. You'll see 93 octane is kind of standard. Rednex has got a 95 octane. Any one of those is plenty high octane. So there again, for less use, that's a great way to go on two-cycle products. Also, companies like VP Fuel have 4-cycle in pre-packaged containers. There again, if you're not using a lot, it's a great way to go. So if you've got a lawnmower, you got a small yard, but you want a gas mower, this may be a good way to go. This comes in gallon-sized containers, so it gives you a little more capacity. There again, it's not required, but if you're not using your equipment a lot, you get up to a 2-year shelf life out of this fuel as well. Another great option, which I would recommend whenever you get fuel, is to add some type of fuel stabilizer. Because a lot of the problems we see is people say, well, I just got fuel, and then they start thinking it's been a few months ago. So if you just add a little bit of stabilizer to that fuel, it doesn't take a lot. And there's different, there's stable, Exmark, more manufacturer has a great additive. Seafoam, this is a fuel treatment system. You'll see this in a lot of auto parts stores. It doesn't take a lot to use in, say, a gallon or 2 gallons of fuel when you're picking it up. But that little bit will help give you the longer shelf life. You'll get up to 12 months storage by adding fuel stabilizer. So I highly recommend premium fuel, a little bit of fuel stabilizer. And I just have the gas can out here because a good clean gas can is extremely important. If you have an old steel can, sometimes they'll hold moisture, so that water gets in the fuel, and that causes more trouble with outdoor power equipment than a lot of things we see. So if you've got a good can, great. If it's an old steel one, you're starting to see some rust in there, it's time to get rid of it and get yourself a good plastic gas can. Thanks for listening today.
Weingartz, everything.